Alright guys, I loosened all the bolts here. I loosened the bolts up in the front here on the handlebars. I took the carburetor off here. I loosened the gas line. I took off the cooling fins that go around here on both sides. And I took off this handlebar. I undid the hitch support. I'm going to try to lift up the handlebars and just pivot the whole thing out of the way here. Let me see if I can successfully do that or not. Let's see if I can do this. No, not working so good. I was hoping I could just pivot it right out of the way here and just get my jug off, but something's frozen on there, so give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I got it freed up. I forgot to take off these two bolts here, and also you got to take the fan belt off. This thing was rusted into the pulley big time. Let's see if we can flip it up now. There we go. Now we're talking. What's it caught up on now? There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Sweet. So, what we'll do here is we'll take our 4 bolts off to hold the jug on, and we'll see if we can pop that jug off. Nice. Well, I got the jug out. Just a little wiggle. And I think it's going to come right off here. Let's see. Shoot. Let's see. I'm just grabbing it and pulling. Let's see. The piston's pretty stuck in it. So, I may have to get a piece of wood or something and tap the piston out the bottom. But now that I got that out, my whole crank is free, which is good. See that? So if I can get this rusty piston out the bottom, I'll be good. I think I'm going to take my hammer handle and tap it down and pull up and see if I can get it out. We'll go from there. Well, I put a block of wood in there and I was pounding on that thing pretty hard, and I just broke the damn handle off my hammer. What the heck, huh? Tell me that's not funny. What the hell? That was my favorite hammer too. So that piston is really rusted bad right into the cylinder, and I've had this happen before, and it's a real bitch to get it out. So the rings all just rust right into the thing. Makes it almost impossible to get it out. But I think I'm going to dump some oil in there and come back again tomorrow. It's getting dark out, but I got it to move down here about 1/8 of an inch. That's it. So maybe I can pound it a couple more times, but it's really in there tight, and it's making it really hard to get it out because of that. Well, I got the jug off, a little hammering. This piston is quite hilarious. See, it was rusted all the way into that cylinder. The rings are all just totally frozen on it. I'm guessing it's a standard piston, which I got a boatload of, so I can just take another one and chuck it in there and it'll be good as new. But the whole the motor actually turns over just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And believe it or not, the bottom half of the jug isn't that bad. There's a big ridge where the piston was stuck, but it will clean up. Well guys, this is the jug. It's out. And you can see how pitted this crap is in here on the top. I don't really think it's pitted. It's more, oh, in here it's pitted, but where the rings were, there's a pretty big groove here. And this looks pretty nasty. I think what I'm going to do is take my Dremel tool here with this on here. Let's just see what happens. If I try to get rid of some of this rust. It's mostly just surface rust. I think if I just kind of polish it out a little bit with this, and then try hitting it with my drill hone real quick. The worst spot is right where the rings were. There's a pretty big ridge down there. Stinks. I don't have a mask on this one. Yeah, that area where the rings were is pretty painted. There's a big ass freaking ridge down there. Ooh, reach. Let's see. That's about 2 seconds worth of spraying here. Let me shoot some brake cleaner in there and see what it does. Smells great too. Yeah, so yeah, what fun, huh guys? So you can see this rust in there. And it's pretty bad on the top here. I think what I'm going to do is take my little, see if I can get it here, my drill home. I'm just going to take this bad boy in here, hook it up to my drill here, and douche it out a little bit. I'll concentrate mostly on the top here. See if we can get that rust out for the most part. Be right back. This sucker is pitted. That is a pitted ass cylinder, huh guys? Well, let's put these back in and do some more. Yeah, it's cleaning up. There's just so much gunk in there, kind of deep, that I think that, you know, even if I used a piece of sandpaper in there to start to get some of that really heavy rust off, it'd probably be smarter than what I'm doing here. Maybe that's what I'll do. Let's see. This is a piece of 1000 grit paper here. Let me just rip this and do a little of that action first. It's pretty bad. Let's try it again. Getting there. Honing takes forever, that's for sure, so it's my sandpaper here. I almost have all the surface rust out. I think it will clean up. I bet you could run it just like it is and it wouldn't matter, but let me zoom you guys in a little bit here and show you what we've done in about 3 minutes of honing here. Let's see. So we still got some rustiness over here, you can see. But it was starting to get through it up here, and you can see some shiny, scratchy looking stuff there. So I think that it will clean up. It's close. I mean, if I can just work it a little bit more here, I think I'm gonna use that moto tool a little more and try to get that rust out with that wire brush before I hone more. But it was starting to get to where we need to be, and I think it'll be good. Then what I'll do is after I get that done, I'll take the valve springs off and get the valves out, and we'll take a whole this brush cup here and just do the whole top of the head here and get all this big rust out of there, and we'll see how the valves are looking. We still got this head bolt here that's got to come out, which I think will be pretty easy to get out. Just snapped off up here, luckily. But I'm going to soak it with some crap tonight, and we can try to heat it up tomorrow or something and get it out. This is kind of hairy over here. If you look at the exhaust manifold here, these threads are very suspect. It's tight on there though, but this bolt is about to disintegrate, and the piece of the ear that it goes into, there's not a hell of a lot of that left. So the other side is solider. Is that a word? Solider. But it's still kind of suspect, but it's solid. It's not going anywhere, so just be careful. There's a lot of surface rust in these tins up here. I might put this whole jug in the electrolysis tank. I've seen some guys do that, and I could do that. There's nothing to say I can't, but this is just kind of farting around for fun. I don't really have any intentions for this machine, but I didn't really want to see it get scrapped either, so I figured we'd just do this for fun. Alright, the thing was worse than I thought, so I figured this out. Check this out, guys. Yeah, that actually got rid of most of it. That got rid of most of my rust issue here. That's pretty cool. This side over here is really, really pitted. It's really, really pitted deep. And the top up here is really corroded big time. Somebody was saying that mouse piss would just eat the metal to bits, and I have a feeling that that's what's happened with this thing. But that top side there, if you can see up here, this one area here is really pitted bad, and the other side here is cleaned up pretty nice, but there's this one area here that's fairly pitted, and I think I could hone it out some more, but the real question is, where is this cylinder going to be after I do that? What size piston is it going to need? And I don't know. Well, this is a standard piston, and just to illustrate where the rings would lay in the bore, when the piston's up all the way, the top ring really isn't much higher than this top fin. So if this thing was to be in the engine, again, this is a standard piston that I've got here. Let me just see something here. Okay, it's pretty tight in that bore. It's pretty tight in there, so I think we're still in standard territory here for sure. I mean, I could measure this all official, but it's pretty tight in there. But I think that this is honable. Honing just sucks. It takes forever. And the problem that I have is I go for like 2 seconds and the stones get all full of grit. Ooh, it's sharp. So you got to clean them out and keep going. But I think that if I have the patience, I could keep hitting it here and we'll clean it up. But it just takes a long time. You got to have a lot of patience, which I don't have right now. Well, after honing it a little more, really starting to get down to the steel here. It's hard to take a good photograph of this, but there's some real big pits in here. It's hard to see it on the camera, but they're fairly deep right in this area here. Some redneck engineering, you probably get it to work, but they are pitted pretty good. My guess is that if you're going to do this right, you probably have to go out to like 20 thousandths or something, if not 30, to get those pits out of there completely. But I think for our redneck job here, we're just going to call it a day. Just about where we are, I think. We'll hone it out a little bit more. Just starting to get down to the metal up here and getting a little bit of a crosshatch in it. But it's definitely going to work. And we'll let this head bolt here soak overnight, and we'll come back to that again tomorrow with a torch and a vice grip, and we'll see if we can get that out.